All right, guys, this is August 1st, 2025, Friday afternoon. It's a little late in the day for me to be getting to this video, but hey, as long as I can get a chance to share some fun things with you, my day is going to be a whole lot better, and I hope that yours will be likewise. This is just light, easy conversation. I know it's one-sided, it's just me talking to the camera, but I hope you kind of feel like we're sitting around having a chat. For years, I would take about 15-20 minutes every morning on my way out the door at work to stop at McDonald's, and there was these older men. I was in my 40s and they were in their 70s and early 80s, and we'd sit there and talk over coffee and cinnamon rolls. Well, I wouldn't drink coffee, but I would have the cinnamon rolls and they would drink their coffee. But I would have the greatest conversations with these guys. I never knew what was going to come out of their mouth. Everything was completely random, which is why I'm doing these videos the way I'm doing them now, is because I'm hoping to kind of capture that same kind of spirit in all of this. So you're going to hear things that aren't necessarily connected together, but that's the kind of conversations I like to have. I don't want to beat a dead horse. You know what I mean? I don't want to be a channel that only talks about one thing, and I hope you can appreciate that. So anyway, I did trim my beard a little bit this morning, being the 1st of August. When I was growing my beard out before and I grew it real big, I would only touch my beard. Well, the last time I did it, I wouldn't touch my beard for months. But you know, some years ago when I grew it out bigger, I would only do touch-ups on the 1st of every month. That way it would keep me on track. So this morning, I did clean up some. I trimmed the mustache, I cleaned up the cheek line, I kind of faded in the sideburns just a little bit, and then I took off some of the hairs that were poking out around, and it looks so much better. It's amazing how much better your beard can look when you just do a tiny bit instead of just hacking away at it. And that's what I've done. I didn't make a video out of it, and I'm glad I didn't, because I took my time doing it, and I actually missed a few things. So when I get home this afternoon, I'm going to do a few things with the neckline. But that's how I spent my morning when I first got up. And what I have in my beard today is Husky Beard's original beard oil. This, if I can get it in focus here, there we go. This is really nice beard oil. Let me get my face out. There we go. Really nice beard oil. Husky has been around for a while. I've been with them for about as long as I've been doing beard product reviews. And this has, I think, more like kind of like a coconut, a clean coconut smell. Very nice. And that's what I put in my beard. And this morning, but tonight, or after I get home, I will put in their original beard butter. And this is a 4-ounce container. That's a lot of beard butter. I can save you some money. If you want to try out Husky Beard, it's Boswell15. That's the code. It'll save you 15% on all their products. You got to try out Husky Beard. They will know that I sent you when you use that code, and I'm sure they'll appreciate it. But have you ever wondered what makes your hair curly or straight? I mean, some people are blessed with either one, and everybody wants what they don't have. Now, my beard tends to grow a little wavy. My hair on top of my head, when I was a kid, my hair was always a little more fine. It was soft and fine, so it was just kind of, it was like spaghetti almost, like it just would just flop all over the place. You couldn't get it to do anything you wanted it to do because it was just so soft. And it would tend to, the longer it got, the more wavy it would tend to be. But there are people, whether they're growing a beard out or their hair is just very, very curly. And the people who have straight hair, like I did, were very jealous of that. And I thought, man, I'd like to have curly hair. But the people who have curly hair hate it. At least I think they do. That's what they say most of the time, and they want stick straight hair. And they're always doing stuff to it to make it appear other than how it normally does, and vice versa. But what makes hair curly or straight or wavy? I've got an answer for you here. And this comes from a book I have called Uncle John's The Greatest No on Earth. And I'll leave a link for this down below. Here's what their answer is to this. Research shows that the curvature of a strand depends on the nature of its follicle. When a follicle is asymmetrical, the hair that it produces is oval in shape and tends to curl. So you can kind of see that in the picture, how that makes sense. When it's symmetrical, the strand that emerges grows round and straight. A curly hair can also be described according to its composition and structure. A research team working for the cosmetics firm L'Oreal used electron microscopy to compare straight and curly hair fibers. The former were circular in cross-section and symmetrical in structure. I hope that doesn't seem too boring to you, but the picture makes a lot of sense. The latter, though, had an uneven distribution of a particular type of keratin, which accumulated near the inside edge of a curled hair just beneath the curve. And this is from Popular Science. So you can see that the way the follicle is shaped determines how the hair is going to come out. So there you go. Not real important information, but if you've ever pondered that and questioned why your hair is curly or straight, there you go. There you have it. So yeah, that's kind of interesting stuff. The picture when I found this was very helpful to me. And unfortunately, I don't think there's anything you could do about it. You're kind of stuck with, I guess, it unless you do all sorts of things, use all sorts of implements on your hair, which I don't want to do. With my beard, I could, you can make it straighter by using heat and whatnot, but man, I think it's probably best just to rock whatever you got, right? Wouldn't you agree? Some people wouldn't. They'll do anything they can to do something different with their hair. I don't know. Do you have a beard or do you not? Do you shave your head? I think there's also a difference I think there's a difference in the way you shave too. Maybe if your hair is curlier, I think you're more prone to ingrown hairs, obviously. So shaving becomes somewhat of a challenge, and skin irritation is an issue oftentimes with that likewise. So there you go. All right, so here's a fun little fact. This has to do with Groundhog Day. You might be asking, why do you bring this up? Well, for no particular reason. I have no particular reason for talking about Bill Murray's Groundhog Day. All right, here's the question I have for you. And it goes like this. How many Groundhog Days do you think Bill Murray experienced in the film? Have you ever stopped to do the math? Okay, so here's the thing. I have never actually watched the movie. I've seen plenty of clips. People always talk about it. I feel like I've seen the movie. I get the basic gist of it. I've probably seen good portions of it. So I couldn't give you a correct estimate, but I found this piece of trivia in that same book I just shared with you. The answer is, they estimated 12,403. How many years does that amount up to? Okay, so I didn't even think about this until now. So I'm going to calculate 12,403 divided by 365. That's nearly 40. That's nearly 34 years. 34 years of Groundhog Days. Can you imagine living the same day over and over and over again? Some people feel like they do with the kind of work they have. Now, I've been working for the company I'm with for, I don't know, close to 25 years. It's not been 25 years yet, but it's pretty stinking close. And some people feel like it's just the same thing day in and day out, which is why people love Groundhog Day, because they relate to the angst of the mundanity of everyday life, right? But they understand that if it really went to its extremes, it'd be so much worse, and maybe we have more to be thankful for than what we do. But let me ask you something about work, okay? This is from a book called The 100 Simple Secrets of Successful People. I got something to share with you out of this. At work, when people get promoted, what kind of chatter goes on? Let's say there's a position that comes open. You got to put in for it. There's an interview process. You might be part of that, or you might not be. But there's always some kind of hubbub around that when somebody finally gets picked. How do people talk? How do they feel about it? What's the effect that it has? Do people feel resentful? Are they jealous? Here's what this says on the 50th simple secret in the 100 Simple Secrets of Successful People. So I hope you like this. When someone in the office gets promoted, Will colleagues offer support and sincere congratulations, or will they snipe and complain? That's what I'm getting at here. Think about that. Think about that. Are you part of that? Are you? The difference comes down to whether they think the promotion was deserved. That makes sense. I would have to agree with that. To maintain the support of your coworkers as you advance, you have to let them see how hard you are working long before the promotion as well as after it. You have to let them see how capable and dedicated you are. You will maintain far more support from coworkers for appearing overly dedicated to your work than you would receiving a promotion they do not feel is justified. So I'll have to agree with this. I have tried out for positions and then I've seen someone get promoted who actually deserved it. And you kind of have to go, yeah, I'm kind of bummed out that I didn't get it, but I can see why so-and-so did. They really are more qualified than the rest of us. And that's what really matters. And you feel like the company did right, at least, if that is what goes down. So they give a little story about this, and you're going to recognize the names, probably, more than likely. And it's a really good illustration of all this. Sterling and Shannon Sharp grew up playing football together on the farm in Glenville, Georgia. Sterling, the older brother, was recruited by a football powerhouse, the University of South Carolina, and went on to become a first-round draft pick in the National Football League. Shannon was not heavily recruited and wound up playing football in obscurity at Savannah State College before fighting his way onto an NFL roster as the last man drafted by the Denver Broncos in 1990. Sterling was among the league's best wide receivers, trying desperately to help his team to the Super Bowl when a neck injury cut short his career. Shannon's skills continued to develop until he too became recognized as one of the premier pass catchers in the game. Shannon's Denver Broncos made it to 2 consecutive Super Bowls, and then he won a 3rd Super Bowl as a member of the Baltimore Ravens. When Sterling was asked whether he was jealous of his brother's continued success in Super Bowl rings, he said, "It's very easy to pull for him because I know what this means for him and I know how hard he worked to get there." Okay. The same goals and dreams and work ethic and everything Shannon put into getting there, I experienced as a player trying to get there myself. So here's how they end this little article. Over 8 in 10 people will support their friends moving up beyond them, even support the advancement of peers who they are not friendly with if they feel the promotion was based on achievements and ability. So I have to completely agree with this. So no one likes to see anyone advance who doesn't deserve it. And that's a problem with a lot of things that are going on in this world today, is that when people are given breaks that they don't deserve, they usually come with a cost, right? The takeaway from all this, I guess, is easily explained in the book itself. But just remember, if you're trying for something, first of all, try to make yourself as deserve-worthy as possible. And if someone else gets there before you and they've done the hard work, let them know that they did deserve it. I've seen that happen time and again, and it really does put the kibosh on a lot of resentment that might grow in the workplace otherwise. Okay, the next thing I want to share with you is this. Okay, let me start off by asking you this. When you go to work, do you pack your lunches? I don't. Now, I try to. I just don't like a packed lunch. It's hard for your food to taste optimal when you pack your lunch. And that's why I don't do it. I like to eat something fresh every day, even if it's probably not that good for me. So I never do. But if you do pack your lunch, do you use a lunchbox or do you use a brown paper bag? But when I think of packed lunches, I think of childhood. Going to school, my mom would always pack a lunchbox for us. And I hated our lunch boxes, unless they were like the ones that look like 10 square lunch boxes and they had like the Dukes of Hazzard or Yogi Bear or Batman or something on it. I liked those lunch boxes. Those were cool because you could always kind of compare them with all the other kids who had cool lunch boxes. And it kind of felt like you had a collector's item. I don't even see those anymore. They're kind of rare, unless you go to like Rocket Fizz where they have all the novelty candy. Sometimes you can still find those kinds of lunch boxes. And then they don't even put the right thermoses in them. But I digress. Okay, so I hated it when my mom started using Tupperware lunch boxes. Those things were just so ugly. And they were bulky, and I didn't like having to carry something extra. However, if my mom packed my lunch in a brown paper bag, I loved it because then I could throw away the paper bag when I was done. I didn't have to take anything with me. It was hands-free. But there's an interesting history with the brown paper bag. And you might think, well, that sounds kind of boring, but it's not. It's not really boring. Listen, you gotta hear this. This is really good. So there are a few things simpler and more functional than the paper bag. Picasso painted on them. The artist Saul Steinberg had used them to create elaborate masks. That kind of reminds me, when you were a kid, did you ever turn your brown paper bag into a puppet, like draw eyes and stuff on it? Anyway, and Americans consume them at the rate of 40 billion a year. As simple and indispensable as the paper bag is, the invention as we know it today, with its convenient flat bottom and pleated sides, is surprisingly only 100 years old. Charles Stilwell, the inventor of the brown paper grocery bag, was born on October 6, 1845 in Fremont, Ohio. He enlisted in the Union Army at age 17 and served in the Civil War. It was shortly after his discharge that Stilwell began to tinker with inventions, and one of his earliest successes in the summer of 1883 was the first machine to produce paper bags. Bags existed before Stilwell's time, but they were pasted together by hand. Their V-shaped bottoms prevented them from standing on their own, and they were not easily collapsible or conveniently stackable, as we commonly buy them now. But by the way, Stilwell has an awesome handlebar mustache, doesn't he? Stilwell's design was a marvel of simple engineering. He named the flat bottom pleated side bag SOS for self-opening sack. The bag could open instantly to its full shape with a snap of the wrist. And its pleats, or gussets, which allowed the bag to open quickly, also permitted it to collapse and stack neatly. But the feature that endeared it to grocers and market baggers was its ability to stand upright, fully opened by itself. Oh, so of course, I've been referring to the paper bag, as something you carry your lunch in, but of course they have the bigger bags that you haul your groceries in, which I know we use a lot of plastic bags now, but I still like the big brown paper bags. They're more durable. They're less likely to fall apart on you as you're walking in the door. The biggest boom to the Stilwell bag came with the birth of the American supermarket in the early 1930s. Never had a single store offered a wider selection of foods and household products, all to be carted away in humble brown sacks. As supermarkets multiplied in response to the country's expanding population, demand for Stilwell's flat-bottom bags grew proportionally. Versatility, strength, and low cost made them a nationwide, then worldwide institution. Today, America's 28,680 supermarkets alone purchase 25 billion bags a year. I wonder if that's still true. I mean, this book's not real old, which I'll put a link for this also down below. This book's not real old, but so I wonder how much of this is actually true. Charles Stilwell died on November 25th, 1919 in Wayne, Pennsylvania, but not before his fertile mind had invented a machine for printing on oilcloth, a movable map for charting stars, and at least a dozen other brainstorms. The masterpiece of his career, though, is patent number 279505, the machine that made the bag at once indispensable and disposable. So, here's a little bit of history on something that you never would have thought of looking up, right? And if someone would have said, hey, I wonder where the brown bag came from, the brown paper bag, you probably would have thought to yourself, well, I don't really care. It's not something I've ever thought about. Why would you want to know? But when you look at the little things like this and see the ingenuity and the purpose that was put into them, then it makes it rather interesting. At least to me it does. But now that you know, you can't unknow, and hey, you never know. You might be part of a trivia team, and this is something that might come up. So I do think that way, and it is helpful because I tend to do rather well in trivia. I guess because of things like this, because I pay attention to detail. All right, I hope you liked that. Now moving on, you can see how hot it is. I'm I have beads of sweat running down my face, my forehead. It is very, very heavy out here. All right, so you know that I always give a quote of the day. All right, this one is from Frank Sinatra. Yes. He says, alcohol may be man's worst enemy, but the Bible says, love your enemy. Well, Frank Sinatra had quite a relationship with alcohol, didn't he? What is your favorite drink? I like mixed drinks. I'm a margarita guy myself. I do like Chili's Tito's Punch with vodka in it. That's nice. I don't drink beer. I do not drink. I can't stand the smell of it or the taste of it. I don't want to have to acquire a taste for it, like they say. But I do like whiskey and bourbon. I do like vodka. But I mean, of course, you know, not straight. And I'm not somebody who takes shots. I don't do that. But yeah, I don't have a deep-seated relationship with alcohol. I hope you don't either, but I am curious, what is your favorite go-to drink? Someone the other day, we were talking about Crown Royal and the green apple kind, and I love that. Crown Royal's green apple is so good. Oh my word. I can drink a little too much of that. I tried the vanilla, didn't care for it, but someone told me that Crown Royal vanilla is really good with Dr. Pepper. I might try that this weekend. Okay, so, yeah, love your enemy. I don't know. I don't advise his philosophy here, but that is kind of funny. And here's the thing. I usually only have like one quote of the day, but I have to give a second one because this ended up on the same page and I could not pass it up. Mae West. You know who Mae West was? The wisecracking starlet, if you want to call her that. Very, very risque, seductive, always trying to beckon the boys up to her room. She's very funny, very, very funny. Here's what she said. I may be good for nothing, but I'm never bad for nothing. Okay, think about that a little bit. It's funny to me. You might not think so, but all right. So here is the word of the day. I like to include this also. Today's word is fulminate, and it means to explode. Also, to announce loudly or forcefully. Someone who culminates thunder or issues a dramatic attack. Okay? So obviously this is someone who has a rupture of exclamation. Right? They're loud, maybe they're obnoxious, but it's like it's a rather explosive response to something. And you've seen this time and again. I try not to do that. There are times when it feels like it might be useful, but not generally. I've seen plenty of our customers fulminating about a thing or two when we show up. But yeah, that's the word of the day, fulminate. I hope you guys have a great weekend. I'll be back tomorrow. I'll have another video out tomorrow. Totally different stuff. I hope you enjoyed the content. I hope you felt like it was a way to kind of get away from other things. All right, I'll catch you guys in the next one. In the meantime, be wise.